BB851, turn right, heading 180. 14 Papa, turn right 245, report localizer established 27.
An airline in crisis. I feel one of the easiest ways to describe the ongoing situation at Cathay Pacific, an airline covered extensively here on the channel. For many carriers, business models can be critical catalysts for why they plummet into losses or situations of bother. However, while of course for Cathay Pacific they've struggled from the standpoint of a business model, as it stands now, the airline is being killed off by its own government, as has been best described by analysts within the sector that focus on developments at the Hong Kong-based carrier. Over the past couple of months, the airline has faced speed bump after speed bump, and while the turn of the new year for many was a chance to have a fresh start, Cathay's continue to struggle, and there's a lot to recap, so let's begin with an aircraft order. Near 2 weeks ago, Danny Lee, a very highly reputable and respected journalist known to cover developments involving Cathay Pacific, revealed that a new airline based in none other than Hong Kong, the exact location as Cathay Pacific, is currently eyeing a purchase of 30 narrow-body jets. An order that would consist of an undecided aircraft at this stage, but options have been narrowed down, no pun intended, to both Airbus and Boeing. That would be the Airbus A321neo, and finally the Boeing 737 MAX. This is also ultimately an order that would kickstart Greater Bay Airlines, as it will be known, and thanks to this acquisition, should it go through, it would take a substantial part of the existing market that Cathay Pacific has, which, may I add, they've certainly struggled and fought for in recent years to keep due to the pandemic. Greater Bay does pose a risk to Cathay Pacific should they be able to begin operations, and their ambition is to fly to more than 100 destinations in China and cities across Asia. And as many have said, it's a way that Cathay could find themselves finally being forced out of the industry, which is, as you're going to find out from my next point, something that you could argue was already being attempted to be done. The airline also recently faced a government ban that saw the carrier unable to fly on international routes that were labelled as key. Although, in a time like this, for Cathay, really any international route is a key one, as their network has been severely reduced. The Hong Kong government has continued though to blame Cathay Pacific for basically any outbreak of the virus, as they chase to shoot for that strategy of zero. While most airlines have been fortunate enough to have some domestic market, and now this could be best seen in the United States during the pandemic, to make up somewhat for a rough international outlook, Cathay Pacific has had neither. So they've not had a strong international network, and they've certainly had absolutely no domestic travel, of course due to the harsh restrictions implemented by the Hong Kong government. And therefore, their numbers have plummeted significantly. If you do want to take a look at some of their numbers, there's been many videos here on the channel. However, they had a couple of positive months in and around August and September. Now, when I say positive, those numbers were still around about 96% lower than pre-pandemic levels. However, they were given the boost as students travelled overseas to begin the new school year, whether that was the United States or in Europe. However, immediately after that period ended, the airline's numbers then continued to drop back down to staggeringly low figures. While freight has been an avenue for the airline, they are predominantly a passenger carrier, and thus substantial numbers in the freighter market, or should I generally say a quicker recovery on pre-pandemic numbers, is certainly a positive. It's not where they want to be solely improving. They also want to see their passenger numbers rise, and at the moment, that's not been happening to the levels they want, and as any airline would say to you, it can't go on forever. Things do need to change, and with the situation in Hong Kong getting increasingly worse and stricter, they're running out of time. What are your thoughts on the latest over at Cathay Pacific? Do let me know down in the comment section below. Thank you so much for tuning into this video. I do appreciate all the support even under these, I guess you could say, rough circumstances for certain airlines. I hope you've also been enjoying the new updated thumbnails. Thanks once again so much. I'm very grateful. Take care, and I'll see you next time.